All right, we are live. We are live. We are live. It is Friday, a few days before Independence Day, and well, the trial with the Xbox, the Federal Trade Commission, has wrapped up, and I believe all final judgment from the judge is going to be made next week. And it's been fun. It's been a very fun week. Um, and in between, of course, your boy Unlimited Production has been gaming, always do. So, how about we spend this Friday afternoon talking some video games, and then we're going to enjoy our weekend. Yeah. So, as always, when I do these shows, I always just like to have a thesis, if you will, a main point that I want to talk about and just progress from there. So I just want to ask a simple question: why did Sony get a pass for trying to kill Xbox? Hey Zinc, what's up, man? You know the deal. If you ever want to join, let me know. But yeah, why did Sony get a pass for wanting to kill Xbox? So an article from 2020 article from 2020 pretty much explains the mentality that Sony had when going in, when Xbox first wanted to join into the console business. Hey, that's cool. That's cool, Zing. Just a quote here. We targeted Microsoft from day one. We were ruthless. I'm not a fan of this mentality anymore, but at the time, it was life or death as far as I was concerned. We had this expression in our business meeting: kill them right at the start and take no prisoners when it came to Microsoft. It worked for the PS2, continue to work for the PS3 and PS4, and it'll probably continue to work for the PS5 because we drove piles under the strength of PlayStation equal game content. At that stage, we were getting ready to take on Microsoft. And I'm quoting this because everybody else is using the quote of Matt Booty's email from 2019. This article was from 2020, a year later, approximately a year later, you know. And for some reason, this, you know, people just it, the thing with Sony that somehow Sony there's this weird mentality in gaming that Sony is automatically right or automatically this good guy or what they do, you know, or what they do is fine, but when Xbox does it, it's bad. And I get it. Buying publishers versus buying specific games are different animals, but the results are going to be the same. At the end of the day, games are going to be off one platform or the other. The general audience is going to associate X game with X platform. And then what ends up happening is, okay, Sony pays for Final Fantasy off Xbox, right? In the future, let's say another Final Fantasy game hits Xbox, and you know what happens? What happens is that the gaming audience is going to buy it more on PlayStation because, well, in their mind, it's okay. This is on Xbox, but you don't got the full series, you don't got the full story, you don't got everything. And so even when games, so the point is the thing about exclusivity, whether you like it or not, and there are a lot of people who are vocal against exclusivity, and I see both sides of the argument personally. But the point is simple. The thing about exclusivity is that it associates your brand, associates that game with your console, right, and your brand, and as a result, that's why people think Halo, Gears, and Forza when it comes to Xbox, and soon is going to be likes of Starfield, right, and why people think God of War, Spider Man, and Horizon for PlayStation. But the point I just want to point out because I found this quote interesting, and I found it interesting because it's being ignored. And what's up, Faded Blaze? He said, "What's up, Unlimited?" The Federal Trade Commission lawyer got cooked during the closing arguments. Yes, he did, or yes, they did. I don't remember if it was a man or a woman. Phase 114. If Sony had the money, they would do the same thing and nobody would care. Yeah, nobody would care because now let's not forget Sony was securing PS5 exclusives for from publishers. And this was for so they were aggressive in going to pretty much every publisher to buy games off Xbox, and that's perfectly fine. That's to people that's quote unquote competing, that and stuff. This is fine. This Sony securing PS. So Sony buying all them games. They're going to buy Starfield, by the way, and we all know that with Starfield, if it was exclusive to PS5, the reaction would be complete 180, not even close. Not even close. But it's just funny that apparently this is okay. Sony spending money for games off Xbox is fine. The other way around, they're evil. They can't compete. Um, they're doing it because they're not good. So was Sony not good enough that they needed to buy Final Fantasy off Xbox and all these other games, Deathloop and all these other games? Because by that lot, because that's how it is during that logic. And I said it once, and I'll say it again. I don't care that the Xbox is in third place sales wise, or no, not even maybe both sales, probably sales wise, yeah. And in terms of their market base, I believe they said, "Hey, what's up? Long live the Black Mamba. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant." Although I was not, I'm a Spurs fan, so I was not a Lakers fan at all. But I respected the hell out of Kobe. But anyway, back to the point, man. So all right, Sony pay for games on Xbox perfectly fine, but and it's weird because I try to look at reactions and nobody seems to care. PS5 money has speculation rumbles on. And if you don't know what money heading mean, is pretty much well, some I've seen definitions say that it was pretty much a bribe, if you will, or if you added incentives when it comes to Sony paying for content off Xbox, right? And I look at the comments and there's no outrage, there's no hot takes. At worst, you see in the comments here, they they're kind of annoyed that Sony's doing this. That's the worst you get. That's the worst you get. Let's look at some of these comments. If someone's going to get a PS5, this is good news. Bring me the games. So as you see right off the bat, celebrating that Sony was paying for content off Xbox, absolutely celebrating it. And this is what I don't see, and this is what's so funny. Everybody could be openly ecstatic that Sony was paying for games off Xbox, but Xbox fans Xbox shouldn't get credit for Starfield. They did for Redfall. They're ruining the industry, and it's just so crazy to me, man. It's just so crazy to me. And Faded Blade said this plenty of times. Jim Ryan is riding the coattails of Sean Layden, yet the ponies want to defend him and bash Phil. Yeah, man. Yeah, and Jim out here telling people one thing and the other. It's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. Good times though. Good times. Entertaining stuff. Let's see. This guy here said, "Here's the thing though. Do they need to? I mean, you look at what happened to Xbox. Got time exclusivities. Where did they sell best? Not on Xbox." I don't think that's true, because I remember specifically Rise of Tomb Raider, the one one older game we know for certain Xbox paid for, that was time exclusive, and that, remember, everybody raged at. Everybody raged that back in 2015. That ended up selling extremely well on Xbox and not so much on PlayStation. I just want to scroll through the comments here because I just want to show you how nobody cared. Nobody gave a damn when Sony was out here again paying for securing PlayStation 5 exclusives from publishers. Now Xbox bought publishers, and I get it. That is a far larger scale. But to me, I don't see a big deal. I don't see a big deal at all. And I mean that in the scope of What are the results? The results of Sony paying for games off Xbox is that people are going to if you want to play Final Fantasy bad enough, you're going to buy it on PlayStation. Then when it comes to Xbox, of course, it's going to have diminished sales because if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you're going to do whatever it takes to play it, right? The Bethesda fans, I've do you know how many Bethesda fans I've seen buy Xboxes just to play this Starfield? You know, and and uh so how can I put this? Man, sorry, I had a bit of a brain dead moment there. But yeah, man, um I think that this is I think this is why I just can't even if I were more impartial in the fact that I wasn't an Xbox fan and had this knowledge, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. I don't even get sometimes I don't even be getting as mad at as others do for the shit Sony does. Because I mean at the end of the day it's business, right? Now what's happening is that Sony's on the losing end of that business. Uh let's see. Yeah, another thing you see that's common in the comments from when this was announced is people, they guessing, which games it would be exclusive and stuff like that. But yeah, Sony out here, it's just weird how nobody cares, man. Nobody gave a damn that when Sony tried to kill Xbox, try to run them aggressively, try to run them out the business, all that stuff. Yeah, but I think what gets me the most is when I see people like Colin Moriarty and everybody else be so disingenuous about it. And I say that because they always, 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 always ignore the fact that Sony, that's how Sony got into the industry, man. As this tweet put it perfectly, the success of the PlayStation 1 was entirely because of third party games that Sony did not make. And as you see, this is actually probably a tough image to see. But as you I don't know if I could zoom in any more to, but as you can see, um all these games, all these games were third party exclusives on the PlayStation 1. And this should piss y'all off. This should piss y'all off because Sony didn't, Sony had to pay for them. They didn't do it organically, or is this because it's funny when Sony pays for games on Xbox, that's building relationships, and when Xbox pays for it, that's killing the industry. That's monopolizing and all that stuff. Faded Blaze here said, as oh no, I already read that. I hate Sony more and more every day. Yeah, a lot of people, Shane G, a lot of people now that a lot of Sony's dirt is becoming more and more public than ever. A lot of people are starting to feel that same way, say G. And for me, it's just I just find it hilarious that we have spent decades of Sony literally paying for so much that Sega couldn't keep up, that it ran Sega out of business, and they're so scared that Xbox going to do the same. And that infamous Matt Booty tweet that's going, or not Matt Booty tweet, it was an email from 2019 he sent, about spending Sony out of business. Okay, listen, what? Here's the thing. What head of business isn't doesn't feel that way about their competitor? I know Apple be talking shit about Samsung. Samsung be talking shit about Apple. Man, we got way our phones have way more features than that that iPhone bullshit. I think is normal personally. And I think that they're just doing fake outrage because they know more than ever that Sony essentially lost. This case almost does feel like Sony lost it as Xbox is winning it more so than the Federal Trade Commission losing. Goggle Post said, "Yep, I'm confident though Sony will lose more." Saying G, Microsoft let Sony get away with it. Yeah, definitely. It seems. Listen, by the way, everything. Hey, go chill. Yeah, by the way, everything seems lately. From what it seems like Microsoft, especially Phil Spencer, genuinely wanted to work with Sony, and Sony just plays hardball to the point it's like, okay, whatever. Listen, in 2021 feels like, fuck it. All the Bethesda and ZeniMax games are exclusive. You know, it, no more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Guy, right, if you will. No more Mr. Nice Guy. You hear the cats in the background. Let's see. Bro, Marlon Gaming Nation is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Is he like a X? Is he a fake neutral or like an Xbox dude or Sony dude pretending like Xbox or something? I hate Sony more because the ponies are not calling out the BS. No, they celebrate the BS, man. They celebrate it, and a lot of that animosity is how we ended up here. It's how we ended up here. Listen, Xbox was never not going to go out fighting. All right, they were not going to sit there and their Xbox was never going to sit there. Let Sony pay for all these games off Xbox and just go in the corner. Oh, woe is me! Woe is me! Why can't we get? Why can't we do compete? Instead they're going to use their biggest asset, i.e., the almighty dollar, in this wonderful economic philosophy we have called capitalism, and they're going to use their best resource to bolster their own lineup. And if it's at the detriment of Sony, so fucking what? All right. All our lives, we've seen companies come and go. We've seen one competitor beat the other. We've seen one come out top, many fell. And, whatever happens to Sony because of this, that's on them. So if Sony, listen, the big thing that I will pounce on this until I get a legit answer, not that fanboy answer. But if Sony was so great, why in their 20 years of dominance have they never tried something like this? You know what it was? They thought the strategy that worked against Sega in 1995 was going to work on Xbox in perpetuity. That's what they thought. So they didn't see out. There's a chance they didn't even see this as a possibility until Xbox shocked the world. You know, and now we get stuff like, and it's funny as you see on screen, Sony's PlayStation chief says publishers hate Game Pass, and that was such a funny statement because after that, I think it was weird production, but a bunch of studios pretty much came out saying they love Game Pass. You get reports of X company, I think it was Anna something who's publishing that game Cocoon. I believe it was them who said that they got a bunch of games coming to Game Pass. So as always, when it comes to Jim Ryan, contradictory information. Contradictory information. That's all it is. That's all it is. And so listen, in that case, I'm gonna just pay attention to results and results that Game Pass has approximately 500 games. More games hit there each and every day. There's no shortage of games in Game Pass and all that stuff. So it looks like Game Pass is gonna be fine. Coco Post said Microsoft making it very hard for Sony. Yeah, and that's natural when it comes to you see. That's the thing about being competitive and competing and having someone who could not only keep up with you but surpass you. Yeah, Xbox is gonna make it hard, very hard on Sony and PlayStation. This is like the championship team, Kansas City Chiefs, that's still making moves on the off season so they could keep winning. They don't just win once and then let it go. In this case, Xbox might be that team on the rise that's going to win the Super Bowl soon, like the Bengals. See, long live the Black Mamba said, if you check WBG, I've said Sony is nothing without third party before. Yep, and you're absolutely right, man. Absolutely. Well, to be fair, nobody's nothing without third party because most games are third party games. Now, but I get what you mean. So Sony getting all that third party content. Listen, Sony first party wise, what do they have after Spider-Man, Wolverine that don't have gameplay or release date, and a handful of live service games that's going to flop, right? So to make up for their lackluster roster, they're going to pay for your Silent Hills and your Stellar Blades and all that. So when people Because listen, people only use the first party exclusive narrative on Xbox. Again, if it says only on PlayStation on there, they don't give a damn if it's first, third, second. They don't care if it was made up out of thin air. As long as it has the only on PlayStation logo, that's all they care about. So you don't get the stupid narratives. I mean, but technically it's not first party. Like everybody tried to pull last year with Xbox, even though we got our Grounded and Pentiments along with excellent games like Hi-Fi Rush and stuff. You know, and I still see people try to throw 2022 on us like that wasn't a year ago and nobody gives a shit. I feel like I've had enough of PlayStation. 100%. That's one conclusion I definitely agree on. He, I mean, from everything that's coming out, you could just tell. You could just tell that he's at his rent. He's at his wit's end with them. And for good reason. Sony clearly. I mean, did you guys see? And it was. I'm glad. I'm also glad this was confirmed. But did you guys see the demands Jim Ryan made when Microsoft bought Activision? I mean, he was legit demanding all Activision and Bethesda games go to a PlayStation. No Game Pass, no parity benefits, nothing. He essentially wanted. Jim Ryan wanted us to believe Microsoft paid $7.5 billion for Bethesda. Now 68 point or is it 69.7 billion for Activision for the status quo. That's just not going to happen. And notice how this fight has been all about one game, Call of Duty. And that's why Call of Duty being multiplat will not. Now, this is what's going to happen. Call of Duty is going to stay multiplat. However, Matt Booty or Phil Spencer or Bobby Kotick's going to say once everything's official, but we're going to have exclusive games for Game Pass and Xbox, and everybody's going to sit there and call Phil a liar, because they have selective outrage and poor reading comprehension. My heart says Microsoft will win the case, but my brain doesn't trust the system. That is a good way to look at it, FaZe. A good way to look at it, but I think it's over, man. I think it's over. I think Microsoft has shown enough that what's going to happen ain't going to, what the FCC claims going to happen ain't going to happen. We're going to finally move on forward from this as we enjoy Starfield this summer, Forza this fall, and everything else Xbox has to offer. Xbox versus PlayStation is like Goku versus Frieza. Some people you can't spare or be nice with. Yeah, that's a great analogy, man. Because for my non-DBZ fans, the homie Goku, even after beating Frieza cutting himself in half with the disc, Goku still tried to give him power to survive. And Frieza, being the evil son bitch he was like, no, hell no, and try to kill him one more time. And Goku's like, nah, screw this. That's it. You wasted my good nature. And that was the end of Frieza until he got to Earth. Shane G, if there is any right in gaming world, the judge won't grant the PI. Yeah. And I don't think the judge will. I don't think she will. The dude's claims to be neutral, but he is a pony. Well, there you go. That's usually how it is with those fake neutrals. That's usually how it is. They they are. Oh yeah, that's how it is with them fake neutrals. They claim to be for both, but they only ever talk positively about one, and that one side is almost always unanimously PlayStation. It's hilarious. Those fake neutrals. Huh? What wonderful people. Just hilarious people. It's we've been seeing companies go PlayStation ain't special. If they can't compete, they gotta go. Yeah, that's how competition works. In the Super Bowl, both teams don't come out the winner. There's always one winner. In the NBA Finals, both teams don't win. There's only one winner. And that's because with competition, listen, competition means that there's going to be a winner and a movie. A winner and a loser, right? And that's just is what it is, And people, hell, there are people that right now are calling Xbox a loser for being in third place. Now, I don't care because third place Xbox means I get Avowed, Clockwork Revolution, Starfield, Fable, The Outer Worlds 2, Forza, Indiana Jones. So give me third place. Give me third place if that's the monster lineup we got. That's all. So everybody, so if anybody ever comes to me with that third place stuff, I don't care. I don't care because I'm getting some damn good content with them out of third place. You know. All right. Hey, what's up, Vodka? What's up, Vodka? Faded Blade said, after this is done, Sega got to be next. They better bring back Jet Set Radio Future. Hey, speaking of Jet Set Radio, y'all saw that the spiritual successor. Ooh, something Cyberfunk. It was like Downtown Cyberfunk or something like that. I gotta find that title. That game looks awesome and it's coming out in August. I think August 18th. So yeah, so for his Jet Set Radio fans, Bomber Cyberfunk. That's it. Bomber Cyberfunk, August 18th. You know your boy's picking it up. But yeah, man, the that Sega, that was also fantastic news. Big news seeing that it was confirmed that Microsoft was going to buy Sega back in 2020. And although Sega say that they're not interested, mm-mm. Money talks. We how many times have we seen money talk? Hell, the Insomniac devs literally said that they want to be independent. Sony threw them a bag of money, and guess what? They became first party as soon as they got more money. They see more zeros on that checkbook than they ever will in their life. Batman: The Dark Knights, our brother Bruce Wayne said Microsoft should buy WB Games or Take Two Interactive or Sega. This is what's so fun. Conversations like this really piss off PlayStation fans. Oh, y'all just want them to buy the whole industry. Well, why not? They got the money to do so. Why not? But when it comes to stuff like this, for me, it's the excitement of the potential of what's going to happen. I look at Activision. A lot of Activision teams were just turning to call support teams, especially after they lost their licensing and we lost all them games. The Legend of Korra, Cyber Transformers, War for Cybertron, and Marvel Team Alliance, Deadpool, and all that. When they all right, hold on. Hopefully, y'all could hear me. Look like I might have had an issue there, but yeah, man. Like I was saying, um, so for me, the Activision thing, it's not about like I'm not even a Call of Duty fan. So Call of Duty being first party would be great in the sense that it's gonna be day one on Game Pass, and all the PlayStation people and the soon Nintendo and PC gamers who buy it, they're just gonna put extra money in Microsoft pockets to do even more, right? So yeah, man. And by the way, let me say this, Batman. Of those three, I think I'd want Sega the most because Sega legendary IP. Remember, in the OG Xbox days, Sega and Microsoft had a really good relationship, and they had a lot of exclusive games. Sega GT 2022, Otage 1 and 2. And that matter of fact, that's where Jet Set came from. That's where Jet Set Radio Future was part of that Sega deal that I remember. WB is only great if they get the IP with it. As a huge DC fan, I would love that. Absolutely love that. But I just can't see the IPs, the Mortal Kombat's and all that coming with them if Xbox bought WB. And Take Two would be good too. They release a lot of good stuff. And of course they have the biggest game franchise with GTA. What's up, Tool Man? Thank you for joining. Wilkins here said Doc Dark 1985 said Bethesda should remove 90% of the plants in Starfield to reach 60 frames per second. You can't make this shit up. Yeah, no, that's nonsense. Yeah, listen, the thing about let's be real. Can we be real about the frames per second debate thing? Yes, 60 frames per second is awesome. And I prefer listen, if Starfield had that performance mode, I'd be playing at 60 as well. But let's not sit here and pretend that games are unplayable or that the 60 FPS thing isn't at just a fanboy talking point most of the time. Because the only time, notice how the only time anyone notices frame rate most of the time is when Digital Foundry does it. And I'm sorry, when I see a Digital Foundry video and they talk about how a game is broken at 55 fucking frames per second, no, y'all can't tell 5 frames different. So y'all could kiss my ass with that. But 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 I just don't agree that 30 FPS is unacceptable nowadays. I listen again. I said it a minute ago, so don't sit here and say, "Oh, but no." If Starfield had a 60 FPS mode, I would play it because when the games have options, except for one or a handful of games, I usually play that mode. I'm not going to skip a game because of fucking frame rates, though. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I mean, geez, man, that's like not going to see a movie because it's not in IMAX. Uh, is the game good? So I'm going to deprive myself out of an awesome game, out of Bethesda's newest IP in 25 years because of what? Because of frame rates? No, 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 hell no. That's nonsense to me. So yeah, that statement, and by no disrespect to Doc at all, but just crazy, just crazy to remove Mic check. Mic check. Hey, wait, am I good now? Wait, am I good? Okay, yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you guys for letting me know. I apologize, man. Oh my goodness, I don't know how long I was out. Oh, that's absolutely frustrating. That is absolutely frustrating. I apologize big time, man. You know, I was here going through the chat and just talking, and then all of a sudden I'll get messages like can't hear me. And Box, thank you for the $10, man. Um, okay, I'm good now. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, let me pick up from where I left off. I have no. Let me see. I was oh shit, I was out for a minute. All right, guys, let's regroup and refocus. How does that sound? How does that sound? Apparently, I was out for like 8 fucking minutes. Oh my goodness. Uh, that's cool. Uh, all right, I think. Let's see. Okay, Bethesda should remove 90% of plants in Starfield. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I really hate that happened. Oh well. Okay, I think I did not fucking even remember. Okay, let's pick up where I left off. All right, I'm going to restart everything. I do apologize here.